presenting. Now, presenting, as I said earlier, is not the most important skill. I would say probably maybe 10 or 20% of all networkers are great presenters or real quality presenters. So that means the majority of the people aren't. But if you can invite people to a great presentation, you're going to win a lot of times anyway. Needless to say, if you're a great inviter and a great presenter, that makes things a lot better. First of all, you're not dependent upon anyone else. You can do the presentation. You can customize it to the way that you know it needs to be done. Over the years, presenting was actually one of the things I worked on the hardest. For whatever reason, I thought that that was absolutely critical. I have to tell you, in a short term, over a 5-year period, working so hard on presenting did not yield a whole lot of fruit for me financially. But then once I'd put that much energy into being really good in front of a crowd, no matter where the crowd, no matter what type of crowd, no matter what part of the country or the world the crowd was in, when I got my presenting skills down rock solid long term, it's really helped out a lot. Because quite frankly, very few people sitting through a presentation wouldn't be excited or honored to sign up with the person doing the presentation. It's just when someone becomes what I call speaker man, briefing man, presentation man, where they no longer are concerned about getting people in the presentation. Their egos have taken over and they just want to do the presentation. And I urge you, never be presentation man, because that's a sure way to go broke. But the way to make a bunch of money is if you're filling the room and you can do a quality presentation with a full room with a lot of your people in there, now you've definitely got the best of both worlds. Now in presenting, it's all about your attitude and your appearance. I'm a big believer of appearance, okay? Doing these videos, you can tell I went from a fairly casual look to being in a suit and tie. I'm almost always in a suit and tie when I'm doing a presentation. I know some of you don't like doing that. I can only share this with you. You should always be dressed one step better than whoever your anticipated audience is. And wearing a suit and tie or looking as a professional is rarely got downside to it, and it pretty much has nothing but upside. I mean, people just have more respect for you if you're dressed properly. I go to the airport and travel quite a bit. Most of the time I travel in sweats and a baseball cap, and even though I'm a platinum first class flyer, they treat me a certain way. Whenever I'm doing business and I run to the airport like this, they just treat me better. It's not fair, it's not right, but people do judge a book by its cover. So the presentation starts with you being prepared, and the presentation starts with you looking the part, okay? Having your hair right, having everything the best it could possibly be. Now, we do personality profiling in this. Some of the personalities aren't that concerned with their appearance as much. That's fine, but if you're doing a presentation, your image is the image of the entire company. People will take the messenger and interpret the messenger as the message. So it's important that you've got the right attitude, you're up and you're ready to go. So many people who are banking on this being a great presentation have gone out of their way. Some may have even spent money running ads to get bodies through the door. And if you go up there and you do a half-hearted presentation because you're quote unquote not into it, you've not only hurt yourself, you've done a disservice to everyone on the team that you're working along with. So I highly recommend you always spend a few minutes and get in the right frame of mind. I talk about just being present. Stop for a minute and think about what you're doing and understand that the people in that room, their perception of the company is going to be based upon you. Now, I don't care if you're doing a live meeting for 6 people or 600 people or 6,000 people. You always act as if the room is filled and it's fully worth every ounce of your energy to do that presentation. I don't care if you're doing a 2-on-1. I don't care if you're doing a business luncheon for 30 people or 3 people. The bottom line is if you're going to do it, you might as well do it with everything you've got, because we never know. That's the fun thing about networking. I know a really good friend of mine who built an enormous team years ago. One person he brought in who produced a team doing almost $3 million a month in volume was at a group presentation that only 3 people showed up at. And if my friend had been an average networker or an average presenter, he would have just run through the motions and moved on to whatever else he was going to do. But my friend put his heart and soul into it, did a great presentation, got the guy. He had no idea what was going to come out of it, but you can only imagine how much money you would earn off your downline who's producing close to $3 million in monthly volume. I mean, obviously, it's quite a bit. So doing a good presentation all the time, regardless of the size of the crowd. Another great thing about about presenting is you cannot respond to the crowd that much. Certainly if they're upbeat and they're excited and they're into it, it's natural to flow along with it, but sometimes they're not. Listen, I've done it all over the world. Certainly right here in the United States. Certain parts of the country, like the West Coast, California, Phoenix, all those markets, people are real loose and relaxed and upbeat, and they're with you real easy. In the Midwest, you'll get much more of a quiet demeanor. It doesn't mean they're not into it. They're just not as vocal. They're not as outgoing. It's just not the same way that they're raised. On the East Coast, Northeast in particular, you're going to get a lot of crossed arms and stern-looking attitudes. Once again, it doesn't mean they don't like what you're doing. It just, that's their demeanor. And as you start speaking all over the country and all over the world, you're going to understand some of that. The bottom line is you do the same presentation all the time. You've got the deal. You have got the greatest company, the greatest product, the greatest service, the greatest comp plan. Because let me tell you, right now, as you're watching this, there are people right now signing up in a company that has a horrible compensation plan with a ridiculous product and a ridiculous concept with ridiculous owners. So why would anyone sign in that company? Because there was a great presentation by an excited distributor. And there's another company that's got the best products, the best comp plan, the best everything, and people are not signing up because the presenter, for whatever reason, is not doing a good job. Enthusiasm is the most critical part. I'm not talking spastic, woo, enthusiasm. The people can see enthusiasm in you, okay? You've just got to have belief and energy and excitement while you're doing your presentation. And it's enthusiasm coupled with confidence that's going to make all the difference in the world. You are always talking in the present positive, and you are always casting a vision. In the Bible, it says, without vision, the people will perish. And let me share something with you. In network marketing, without vision, the people will perish. When I'm doing a presentation, I've always got new people in it and people have been around for a while. And I was taught by my mentor, the main reason is to get the new people to say, this is simple, it works, and I can do it. So if you're being real impressive, and if you're getting real complicated and you're throwing in more and more PowerPoint slides with more and more details, you're not making it simple. If you're being so dynamic and amazing and you're talking so much about how great you are, then they're sitting there going, gosh, I can never do this. So they're not going, wow, I can do it. This is simple, very little information, just enough. It works because it's logical and there's great testimonials and I can do it, meaning that you were impressive but not that impressive. They can see that average people can make this business work. Any presentation, it's simple, it works, and I can do it. And if when it's over, that hasn't been said and done, then you did not do an effective presentation. The other reason you're always doing a presentation network marketing is to solidify the reps that are already in the business, to make sure that you're doing something to keep that vision out there in front of their face so they know where the company's going to be in 5 or 10 years, so they know how big of a mistake it would mean if they left now, because some of those reps, boy, that may be their last meeting. They're teetering on the brink of giving in to their sarcastic friends and family. But if you're in front of that room and you're getting those new people and you're doing what you're supposed to do, but you have enough in there talking about the future of the company and where it's going and how we're in the right place at the right time. And I always throw in some kind of an analogy about either pulling the arm on a slot machine. How many people pull an arm and pull an arm and pull an arm and pull an arm and it doesn't win? Then all of the sudden, out of nowhere, the next person jumps in, throws a quarter or a dollar in, and bam, it hits a jackpot. Don't walk away from your machine. You deserve the jackpot you've been working for. I always throw something like that in a presentation, even if it's very brief. My parts of a presentation are simple. I do an introduction to build rapport. Then I talk a little bit about the company. Then I talk a little bit about the product or service. Then I jump right into the actual compensation plan. I give enough detail, but not too much detail. Most presentations I see, you're confusing the heck out of people. Remember the first time you saw a network marketing compensation plan? I give enough information, but not too much. Then I always go into the training and the services, or the training and or the various service that is provided in order to give people a system in order to work their business. It's simple, it works, and I can do it. Most people don't think they can do it, but if you illustrate your company has great training and great things that are put in place so that there is a system, then you'll get those people. And by the way, if you're in a company that doesn't have those things, either A, create them for the company, or B, get in another company. You have got to have great training and great services. Either that, or just bring all your people to this website and eventually bring all your people to the live seminars, generic seminars we're doing on network marketing. But I'm telling you, training is the key to people rising up in network marketing. Not just training on the nuts and bolts of the product. So many network companies I go to their trainings and their people are just learning about the product or service. And that's just not enough, folks. You've got to get in those people and get them to believe in themselves. And then the last step of the training is obviously when you're done doing the explanation of the training, the systems, you do a few testimonials and then you close it up. That is a perfect presentation. Those are the steps towards doing a presentation. You're always confident. You're always excited. You're always thinking this is simple, it works, and I can do it. Whether you do it by yourself or split it with somebody else is no big deal. Don't get 8 people involved in doing a presentation. It starts looking like a circus of some sort, okay? Have the best people do presentations. Big crowd, small crowd, have the best people doing them. How do you work a new person into doing presentations? Let them do some of the beginning, then you come in as an established veteran and close it up. People remember most what they hear last. If someone's going to cut their teeth on a new audience, make sure that they're doing it in the beginning. Never let a new person finish the meeting. That could be an enormous mistake. Make sure you coach your testimonials if you're doing live testimonials. 30-second shotgun testimonials, in and out. No long, exorbitant stories that put the audience into a bored mode. See, if you watch a commercial or an infomercial, you're going to notice about 80% of it are definitely testimonials. Short, sweet, to the point, more sound bites even in testimonials. So either have a video that's edited into sound bites that talks about how great your company is, or make sure you're doing those shotgun style testimonials. But I promise you, testimonials sell. Make sure you're doing them right. Make sure you're doing them legal. Make sure you're not quoting incomes or making claims about a product, obviously, that you can't be founded with. But the bottom line is getting people up there and talking about the results they're getting with your company are key. And then when you close, boy, you close. We are one-call closers. It's not like we're trying to get someone to buy a Gulfstream from us for $25 million. We're going to meet them 6 times. This is our one shot at this audience. And I talked to them about not necessarily my product. I talked about their future. I talked about, if you don't do this, what are you going to do? How's your retirement looking? Are you in a situation where you got everything you want out of life? When you were young and you said, I wanted all these things, have you gotten them yet? Because you know what? Keep your job, keep your security blanket, but now add to it. And this can be your retirement. This can be your investment folio. This can be you putting your kids in an Ivy League school. This could be you moving into your dream home, and you can do it on the side. That's the best thing about network marketing. You get to be an entrepreneur in the land of opportunity. You do it so incredibly inexpensively, and you do it with virtually no risk because you keep your current work situation. I love network marketing, man. People have got to know you love network marketing, and they've got to know when that presentation is over that your company is the only company to be in. When people leave my presentation, one of 2 things happen. They sign up, or they go home and agonize about not signing up for a couple of 2 or 3 days. If I've done a great presentation, that's the results that are going to happen. If you've done a great presentation, that's the same thing's going to happen for you.